Quilters Hall of Fame is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to celebrate the art of quilting and the people who have made major contributions to the world of quilting. They have in their permanent collection a crazy quilt made by one of their honorees, Marie Webster. Marie was an influential quilt designer of the early 1900s. Her floral applique designs, published at the height of the arts and crafts movement, are still appreciated and imitated today. 30 years before she began her quilt design career, though, Marie made this incredible crazy quilt. Hi, I'm Deb Geyer, Executive Director at the Quilters Hall of Fame. Today we're going to take a close look at the first quilt Marie made, a crazy quilt dated 1880. Crazy quilts became popular in the late 1800s among urban upper-class women, and the technique spread across the country through magazines and publications. Webster's New World Dictionary defines a crazy quilt as a quilt made with pieces of cloth of various colors and irregular shapes and sizes. As Penny McMorris says in her book, Crazy Quilts, the typical late 19th century crazy quilt was made by sewing fancy fabric scraps onto a larger piece of lighter weight foundation fabric. The raw edges were usually, although not always, turned under and were held in place by a row of beautiful embroidery stitches that every young girl learned. Although crazy patchwork was the name by which the style eventually came to be known, it was at times also known as puzzle patchwork, Japanese patchwork, and mosaic patchwork. This quilt was donated to the Quilters Hall of Fame permanent collection by the Stanley family. The Stanleys were distant cousins of Marie. Marie would have been 21 years old when she made this quilt. She was living at the time in Wabash, Indiana, in her parents' house. As a child, she and her sisters learned to sew probably as soon as they were able to hold a needle. They learned both fancy embroidery stitches and clothing construction. Marie was an accomplished needlewoman, as was her mother. Marie made this crazy quilt during her engagement to George Webster.
Oh wow, look how rich this is. The colors. This quilt is a contained crazy quilt. There are definite blocks, as you can see here, and all the craziness is contained within 42 8-inch blocks. There are a wide variety of fabrics in this quilt. Fabrics with stripes, fabrics with some polka dots,
With the expansion of the textile industry in the late 1800s, many new kinds of fabric became widely available, and silk became affordable and commonly used. Cotton and wool were still used in quilts, but they were considered hopelessly old-fashioned.
There are some hand-painted blocks. This one is painted on velvet. There's another painted block over here.
Patterns were printed in magazines or they could be purchased. The patterns were generally perforated, traced, or transferred by some means.
Some of the blocks are covered in embroidery. This block has appliqued roses with an edging of cording. There are fans on the quilt. This one appliqued and embroidered. And another fan. The embroidery on the quilt is done in a variety of colors with pearl cotton. I just never run out of something to look at. Save the best for last. This is Marie's signature block on her crazy quilt. You can see the date there, 1880, all done in embroidery. Little French knots in the red there to create a polka dot look on the initials MDW, with grapes and grape leaves intertwining among the letters. The binding on this quilt is a black velvet. The backing is pieced of taffeta.
There is cotton batting between the top and back of this quilt, but there are no stitches holding the layers together. Crazy quilting was more about embellishment than about quilting. The quilts were more showpieces than functional quilts, and were usually smaller lap robes that were used to decorate the parlor and fit in so well with the lavish interior decoration of the day. We at the Quilters Hall of Fame are very honored that Marie's granddaughter suggested to the Stanley family that they donate this spectacular quilt to our collection. We now have the opportunity to document and preserve this wonderful piece of art. We hope that you will be able to visit us at the Quilters Hall of Fame soon. We're located in Marion, Indiana. You can check our website to see what exhibits we have going on. Won't you join us in the celebration of quilting and support the Quilters Hall of Fame by becoming a member? All members receive our newsletter and have free admission into the museum. In July, all memberships at or above the $100 level will receive a copy of the book, A Passion for Quilts, The Story of Florence Pito, 1881 to 1970. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Marie Webster's crazy quilt. Thank you for watching.